Hello, and thank you for joining us today for this composting presentation as we begin the rollout of our USDA Residential Composting Pilot Program. My name is Trevor Freivogel, and I am the Waste Diversion Specialist from PRC.
And my name is Zachary Delaney. I am the Zero Waste Program Manager for the Pennsylvania Resources Council.
Our organization, the Pennsylvania Resources Council, is a statewide nonprofit that was established in 1939 and is dedicated to preserving Pennsylvania's resources through environmental education, facilitating zero waste events, and recycling collections. The Pennsylvania Resources Council has been contracted by the City of Pittsburgh to help research, plan, and carry out a large portion of this residential composting pilot program. Some of the roles or functions that PRC is providing for this program include planning and conducting workshops, distributing compost bins, providing technical assistance throughout the pilot, collecting data and information, reporting data and information back to the city.
The overall main goal of the pilot is to provide a subsidized and accessible opportunity for Pittsburgh residents to begin composting in their homes, receive pickup services, or begin utilizing compost drop-off locations. The purpose of the pilot is to evaluate different methods of backyard and in-home composting alongside the drop-off and pickup services to see which opportunities or methods yield the best results. This may mean determining whether one compost bin is more effective than another or is more compatible with people's time or capacity. This type of pilot is a major step in formally recording the experiences and the feedback of residents regarding composting, which will be important as the city, our urban gardens and farms, and our network of community members and organizations continues expanding and exploring new ways to build up composting at the individual and community scale.
As we now dive into some information on composting, it is important to know why composting organic waste is something that is essential for a sustainable future and learning about the negative implications of failing to do so. So what happens when we do not compost our organic waste? When we improperly dispose of decaying organics, we are depriving the land of valuable nutrients. Rotting organic material has the potential to improve soil and plant growth. And if you do not return those nutrients back to the soil, you're not only depriving the soil of those nutrients, but there are other consequences for the environment. When household organic waste is just thrown in the trash and rots in a landfill, it emits methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas that contributes to warming the atmosphere. As environmental stewards, one of the most powerful things we can do is care for the small patches of land surrounding our homes, and turning organic waste into a valuable soil amendment, making that soil healthy and vibrant. When we do choose to compost, there are several tangible benefits, and everyone, including the natural environment, stands to benefit. First, composting your organic waste is the best way to reduce your food waste. Second, compost greatly enhances soil health when applied as a soil amendment. It increases levels of soil fertility, suppresses plant disease, improves soil structure, increases microbial activity, and water retention capacity. Third, composting has the potential to grow community and increase the circularity of our food systems. The focus of this program is individual backyard composting, but when neighbors and friends engage with each other through the act of composting and in the process of how food is grown, it gives people of all ages the chance to learn and experience the transformation of food scraps into compost, into rich soils, and into fresh food. Lastly, composting helps protect the climate from the effects of anthropogenic climate change. When food waste decomposes in landfills, it produces methane. However, when food scraps are turned into compost, it helps the soil sequester carbon.
Compost itself is a dark, crumbly, and earthy smelling product. When added to soil, it improves soil's physical, biological, and chemical properties, and it enhances soil's natural ability to support plants and beneficial organisms, while also helping with biodiversity and acting as a natural fertilizer for the soil. Composting is the controlled decomposition of raw organic materials. It is an aerobic process, meaning it requires the flow of oxygen. Composting is driven by several cycles of organisms that feed on organic materials and create a stable, soil-enhancing product known as compost. In the act of composting, one works to create and maintain an environment in which decomposing organisms can thrive, survive, and multiply with the goal of turning organic material into a soil-like product. When composting, you are essentially building a farm where you raise the decomposer organisms to produce compost. For those with home composting systems, especially the backyard bins, the decomposing organisms, such as the ones on the slide, are the ones that you want to be farming. If you create a balanced compost pile, then these organisms will thrive and transform food scraps and other organic waste into compost. For those of you doing the other types of composting, these organisms at work will be making the compost, just not at your home necessarily. Thank you for viewing this introductory presentation for the City of Pittsburgh's Residential Composting Pilot. Next, you should move on to the other recording provided to you, which will explain more about the specific composting method that you were selected for.